Hey everyone. If you've ever found yourself just staring at a frozen terminal, waiting and waiting for some command to finish, then this is definitely for you. Today we're going to dive into one of the most essential skills for any power user, managing background jobs. Let's get right into it.
We have all been there, right? You kick off a big file transfer or maybe a long script, and just like that, your entire terminal session is locked up. You can't type anything. You're just stuck. It is, without a doubt, one of the most common frustrations on the command line.
So you're just staring at that blinking cursor, and your productivity has just ground to a complete halt. You might even be tempted to open a whole new terminal window, but let's be honest, that just creates clutter, and it feels super inefficient. What if I told you that you never have to be stuck like this ever again?
And you know what the best part is? It's incredibly simple. We're not talking about some complex script or an obscure tool you have to install. This is a fundamental feature that's already built into your shell, and it is going to completely change the way you work. So let me introduce you to your new best friend, the ampersand. It's just this one character. By simply adding it to the end of any command, you're basically telling your terminal, hey, go run this for me, but don't make me wait around. I've got other stuff to do. A perfect super simple example is launching an application, like a web browser. Normally, if you just type Firefox and hit enter, your terminal is completely tied up until you close that browser window. But if you type Firefox with an ampersand at the end, bam, Firefox opens and your command prompt is immediately back, ready and waiting for your next instruction. Okay, so that's great for when you remember to do it beforehand. But what about those times when you're already in the middle of a command that's taking forever and you suddenly realize, oh no, I forgot the ampersand. Do you have to just kill it and start all over again? Nope, absolutely not. Your escape hatch is Control-Z. Now, this key combo doesn't kill your program, and that's the important part. It just suspends it. Think of it like hitting a pause button. The process is basically frozen in time, and most importantly, you get control of your terminal back. And this is pretty much exactly what you'll see on your screen. The shell will confirm that the process is suspended and you're free again. But here's the thing. The job is just paused. It's not actually doing any work. So what now? Well, this brings us to our next command, BG. After you've paused the job with Control-Z, you just type BG and hit enter. The shell takes that process you just suspended, wakes it back up, and tells it to continue running, but this time in the background. So just think of it as this awesome two-step combo. You run a command, you realize your mistake, you hit Control-Z to pause it, then you type BG to send it to the background. Boom! You've just fixed the problem on the fly, and you've achieved exactly what the ampersand would have done from the very start.
Okay, so now you're a multitasking genius. You might have 1, 2, maybe even 5 different things all running in the background. So how do you keep track of all of it? How do you check on their status? Or maybe bring one back to the front if you need to interact with it? Your control panel for all of this is the Jobs command. Just type Jobs and you'll get this nice, clean list of everything you've backgrounded or suspended. Each one has a unique job number. This is basically your mission control for everything happening behind the scenes.
Now, what if you need to actually interact with one of those background tasks again? That's where FG, short for foreground, comes in. If you just type FG by itself, it grabs the most recent job you sent to the background and brings it right back to the front, reattaching it to your terminal so you can work with it again. So let's quickly put it all together. This right here is your new cheat sheet. You've got the ampersand to start a job in the background from the get-go. You have Control-Z and BG for that retroactive fix. You have Jobs to see everything that's running, and FG to bring a task back. These 5 tools give you complete control. All right, enough theory. Let's see how all this looks in a practical, real-world scenario that you might actually find yourself using. This is where you really start to feel like a command line pro. Take a look at this command. Here, you're using tar to create a compressed archive, basically a backup of your entire documents folder. Now, depending on how big that folder is, this could take minutes, maybe even longer. But by adding that magical little ampersand at the end, you're telling the system, go ahead and do this massive job, I'll be over here getting other work done.
And that, right there, is your new superpower. You've just kicked off a really heavy task without locking yourself out of your own terminal. You're actually multitasking, using your system's full potential without having to juggle a dozen different windows. This is what command line efficiency really looks like.
And really, that's the key takeaway here. You are no longer just a passive user waiting for your computer to finish something.
You're now actively directing traffic, managing processes, and really bending the terminal to your will. You are in control.
But this brings up one last, really crucial question. What happens if you close the terminal window while your backup job is still running in the background? Does it survive? Well, the answer is usually no. But there are powerful tools like NoHub and Disown that solve exactly this problem. We'll be covering those in our next explainer. Thanks for tuning in.